You know what that means. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat, and we will get this train rolling. I'm going to run this back too. Yeah, we got a special guest in the building, y'all. Are those bells for me? You know, I need specifics. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Hazel. So I got the green light. Let's do this thing proper like. Let's go.
God is dawn. Like and subscribe. Comment some night. Love in this light. Here's God is dawn. God is dawn. God is dawn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We are back, baby. This is my second live for the day. R. Kelly ain't worth this. He's not worth it. But actually, no. I would say that today's worth it. We have a special guest in the building. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Peace, world, peace. Welcome or welcome back. I am Goddess Dawn, the warrior, and I'm back, like I said, in time today. This Thursday, August 19th, 2021, day 2 of R. Kelly's New York RICO trial. That's right, day 2 of the trial. We in there. Geronda Pace's testimony resumed. And I got a special guest. Let me bring him up. Yeah, baby. We got Lovell Jones in the building. Hey, Mr. Jones. Yes. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So good to see you. You sound great. You look great. All is well. Let's rewind a little bit because some people might not be aware. So we interviewed Lovell on this channel, December 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a minute. So welcome back. And Lovell is actually a entertainer, I guess we could say, or former. I don't know how you. Let me let you tell the people you are, what you do, and why you're here today.
Okay, I've been in the entertainment business for about 25 years in some capacity. I used to be signed with MCA in a group called Twice, which consisted of my twin brother, who actually sang background with R. Kelly with me, and another set of twins. Toured with Rob R. Kelly for several years. Also Keith Sweat, and now I just cultivate young talent here in Atlanta.
Yes. Okay, I'm actually pulling something up. See, I'm not on my square right now. I didn't have your twice picture. I need to bring something up here. Hold on one second. Yeah, this man is seasoned in the game. He has knowledge about R. Kelly because he worked with R. Kelly. Can you give us a little bit of background on, how you met R. Kelly and like, your thoughts, I guess, in general?
Okay. I came to know Kelly back on his second album, just when he was really starting to blow up, 12 Play, on the 12 Play tour, which probably was one of his biggest albums. Just when he was on the cusp of superstardom, got a job as a background singer along with my twin brother. We flew to Chicago to audition for the position. We got the position, and we weren't even allowed to leave home, go back home and get our clothes. So we had to have our
Oh,
clothes shipped
wow.
to him. We started immediately. And that's basically how I did. Toured with him for years, was close with him, his brother, and a lot of the people surrounding, these latest current events.
Right, right. Okay, well, I was doing my research just the other day. I've been doing research for this thing for 2 years, but I came across, you come up a lot. You come up a lot when, you do a search on R. Kelly, and a lot of the things that are stated by you basically let us know that that the alleged accusations are more than allegations. I mean, I don't know if you can actually say that, but, give
Yeah.
us some insight from your perspective.
Well, when we first got the gig, there was, just rumors of, how he likes young girls and this and that. And it was common knowledge to everybody in the industry. And me and my brother, we were young, we were naive. We were just there to, learn as much as we could, sing background, and just take it all in, being with, one of the greatest R&B artists of all time. And, being around that kind of personality for that long, you can only hide so many things. You know what I'm saying? Hindsight is 2020. Back then, we didn't have 20 years of allegations. He was
Right.
just becoming a superstar and coming into his own. And you heard these rumors, and the rumors about Aaliyah, and people were hesitant to talk about things back then because we didn't have 20 years of proof.
Right. It was just getting started. Well, it was fresh as far as, the masses were concerned. And
Yeah.
at this point, here we are, however many years later, trial number 2. And tell me your relationship throughout the years. So had you kept in touch at all, or what about his family or friends? Like,
I'm still pretty good friends with his brothers, Bruce and Kerry. We call him Killer. And at one time, I was managing Kerry's musical career. It's been a while back, but I am still, we still consider family. I'm like family to those guys.
okay.
Rob, my last contact with Rob was probably about 4 years ago. Played basketball at a church here in Atlanta, and ended up, being in a jam session afterwards. And this is just before all the latest accusations and the trial and everything started to break.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so once that did start to break, how did that affect you? Like, I'm guessing you didn't necessarily reach out right away to have
Yeah,
conversation.
no, not really. I mean, I wasn't surprised, given the history, uh, and accusations for well over 25 years. I was surprised that he was still up to doing the same exact thing that he was doing back then.
Right. Exactly. And that's the problem. And that's why we're here yet again. We are here.
Absolutely.
So, if you don't mind, I'm going to invite I have a couple people that typically come up here with me.
Okay.
Ladies, I'm going to put the link in the mic. And if anyone has a question for Lovell, or, go ahead and let us know in the chat. And we're going to get into today's trial, day 2. Let me just copy this. Yeah, this is, I mean, for me, it's pretty surreal. So I can't even imagine how you probably feel about this with your close connections and all.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, this is
You know,
unreal.
it's really it's sad, it's disappointing. It's hard to feel sorry for somebody after, 25 years of doing the same thing. It's just, it's sad. It's just another story of talent unfulfilled, and somebody that took his talent and his God-given gift and used them for the wrong thing, basically. It's a
Right.
sad tale.
Yeah. That's, I think, part of what the argument is from the prosecution, that he used, his star power to
Yeah,
manipulate and hurt
absolutely.
people. Okay. All right. I'm adding Love Warrior to the panel. Welcome, Love Warrior.
Hi, Goddess. Well, thank you so much for the welcome. And I just want to give all my appreciation for King Lovell Jones for coming
Yep.
back to
Yep.
interview with this
Yeah.
channel. We appreciate you so much and
Thanks for
support
having
you.
me.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Lovell, like, let me just I didn't tell Lovell this was like an interview. I just asked him to join. But if you don't mind, Lovell, if somebody has a question or two.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I was a little forward with that, but I typically do that here. Okay. Hazel E, welcome back, sis. What year did you and your brother start working with R. Kelly?
In 1994, the spring of 1994, we auditioned for the gig and we got it. And we moved to Chicago, stayed downtown. And Chicago.
I think you're freezing up on me a little bit. I don't know if you're moving around. Oh no. Uh-oh. Breaking up, you're just breaking up on me and frozen. Okay.
Am I back?
I hear you. Yes, you're back. All right.
Okay. So we started in 1994 on the 12 play tour. We auditioned, got the gig, moved to Chicago, stayed there for 6 months while we rehearsed in the airplane hangar in Chicago before we went out on the 12 play tour.
Okay. All right. So there's definitely history there. 94 was a year of, that was the year of the infamous wedding, right?
Absolutely.
So you knew Rocky Bivens?
Yep. Actually, I was on tour before Rocky. Rocky was a close friend of the family, and we were on tour. Rocky was somewhere in college, and we would always hoop. Wherever we go to a neighborhood, and Rocky showed up, and of course, Rocky knew them. Rocky dropped everything he was doing, school, everything, and just joined the tour. So he was in our camp for a while, and then him and Tasha from Escape got involved and started seeing each other. So he jumped camps. He jumped from our camp to their camp. And that's how he established himself with Escape, and Tasha became her management. And then subsequently became a road manager for Rob a few years down the line as well.
Okay. Well, that basically corroborates. I did a little video about him earlier today.
Oh, okay.
He actually said in the interview that he met him on the basketball court in a pickup game, and then he went on to it, just like you said. He just kind of dropped everything and went on tour. There was no mention of him in college or anything like that, but that's interesting. Or the fact that he knew the family.
Yeah, he was in school. We were, I forget where we were. I believe it was somewhere down south. He was in school at the time, and we were visiting. We were playing basketball on the college campus.
Very okay. So, all right, Miss Della, thank you for the super sticker. All right, we appreciate you. Okay, so I think we'll just get into Geronda's testimony today, or unless you guys want to talk about anything before we get into this. We're gonna just kind of jump into it. Yeah, go ahead.
I have one question for Mr. Lovell. Did R. Kelly pay you all a fair wage, or we just heard rumors that a lot of times he has been stingy and not paying people their
Yeah.
proper wages. And I
Yeah.
just wondered if he paid you all a proper wage.
Well, back then in '94, it was a proper wage. He was one of the biggest R&B artists out, so there's a big gap in what R&B artists, as far as background singers, and pop artists like someone like Justin Timberlake, Mariah Carey would be paying there. So it's just on another level. We weren't getting that kind of money, but it was a fair wage for the time. But there, his brother, for some reason, he didn't pay his brother. His brother was making just basically per diem $300 a week,
Mm.
and it was
Wow.
ridiculous. And he asked so much of his brother. His brother was part of the show, hyping, rap with him. He wanted his brother to carry his bags. They constantly was in it because he wasn't getting paid what anybody else was getting paid.
Right. I
And
appreciate
sorry to interrupt you, Miss
No, no.
Lovely, but I was talking about Rocky Bivens in that interview. He mentioned that when he and Killer got into the fight and he kicked him off the tour, that he stepped in. He said he got on stage because he said he was already
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Is that normal? I mean, was that something that was?
It was
weird?
something that always happened. Rob was such an egomaniac, and he was harder on his family than anywhere else. Killer at the time was very talented, and he would get jealous and constantly remind Killer that, hey, this is my show. I'm the
Mm.
star. Killer had offers from a lot of people that wanted to do something with him as far as his music career and rap career, and Rob wouldn't let him. I mean, he would always block it and say, I got him, I'm going to do something, but he just wanted to keep him under his thumb. So it was common for them to fight. They fought like they were enemies. They're brothers and they loved each other. And Killer would get kicked off tour many times and end up back on the tour.
Oh wow! Well, let me welcome Boom 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 Boom. Welcome. All right, and that's interesting because it leads me to ask also about the ego tripping. Did you yourself have any experience with him? We've heard these stories, and I've heard audio of that.
Absolutely. He
Yeah.
would never say anything directly to anybody else on the tour, but his brother. I mean, he would constantly be into it with his brother. But us, we would stop somewhere, and we would get. Me and my brother were twins, so we got a lot of attention, and we sang as well. We had a contract with MCA, and we were touring and doing background for him while we were working on our project. So we would get stopped and ask for autographs, and he would tell the music director at the time, after we get back on the bus or something, to come up a day later, hey, I don't like them twins signing an autograph. This is my show. Remind him that this is my show. He would never step to us personally to say it,
Of
but
course
yeah, he was a big control freak, and it was more so over the women. And some of the same tactics that he used and is being accused of today, we've seen those on tour with the dancers and people, the women that were part of the tour.
Okay, so we're talking what, baggy clothes?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
When they weren't on the stage, they had to wear baggy clothes.
No eye contact.
They couldn't mingle with any men, even us. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't allow them. They couldn't go to the bathroom by themselves. It was pretty ridiculous. When I start, I was close to at the time it was wife. We call her baby girl, and then it was another young lady, China, and I forget the other girl's name. But anyway, it was so long ago. But they would tell us what was going on. It was unbelievable.
Mm. So you're not a part of this trial case thing at all?
No.
I mean, it seemed
No.
like okay.
No, most of everything I experienced was more so of behavior, and I never physically witnessed him having sex with underage or somebody that's underage. Back then, everything was, pretty much held tight, and there was rumors, and you were around some people long enough, and stuff started to leak out and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we just noticed the behavior more than anything,
right,
and the rumors. Mm-hmm.
Which is also a part of this whole case, because they need to they're showing patterns of behavior over decades. So.
Absolutely, yeah, it's the same exact thing that's going on now.
Okay. All right, Beautiful Spirit is here. Let me add her to the stream. Beautiful Spirit.
Hello.
Welcome. Hello.
Hey, well, Beautiful Spirit. Hey.
Hi, Mr. Lovell.
Hey, how you doing, beautiful spirit?
I'm good and you. Thank you for coming back. I remember from your last interview, when you came back.
Thanks for having me.
And how you been, first off?
I've been blessed. I've been through some things, through the fire, things like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But gold without fire can't be pure gold. So I'm good now.
Woo. Yes.
Well, that makes you a king warrior. I just had two questions. How do you feel about the trial finally here with the Brooklyn hit charges? And were you around when K Michelle was in his living with him?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't around when K Michelle. Once we were off tour, we went back to doing what we did, and our life. But we're very close on tour because it's like a family out there. You're on the road with these guys. You watch each other's back. There's a lot of money on the bus. So you face danger seen and unseen. So we're close and we're like a family. That's all we had while we were on the road. So we're pretty close.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what about Geronda Pace? We're about to talk about her. She was on the stand, resumed her testimony for the prosecution, and then she was cross-examined today. I forgot what year. She was later. So how long were you with, in his camp or whatever you want to say?
Almost 3 years, just for two albums, 2 tours.
Okay.
But there were so many, even watching the documentary, the second documentary, which started everything. I was part of the first documentary they called from the BBC. Is the one that actually did the one to the Lifetime. So we supplied all the pictures on tour, all the stories, the people to contact, and all that stuff. So, I forget the question that
I did too, but let me show this album cover.
Okay.
Twice. That's you in the middle.
That's my twin in the middle. I'm to the left.
Oh, you're to the left. Well, it's my bad. Y'all are twins, so I ain't drunk, y'all. Okay, and then to the back, he looks like Morris Chestnut.
It's 2 of them too. They're identical as well. The picture's cut off. But that's Mike and Ike.
Okay, wow. So two sets of twins twice. That makes sense. Okay, wow. Well, shout out to you, but that's a big deal. Like, people dream of these moments, So, good. Wow, that's amazing. All right, y'all. He's legit. Okay, don't even play with me. Okay, let's get into today's testimony. I'm gonna play a quick little news, little bite or whatnot.
Okay.
Let me see if this one is it. Now I gotta find it, child. I'm set up over here.
Mr. Lovell, why Goddess is pulling? Oh, she's already got it. That's okay.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask. I saw Hazel, and I was wondering too. Did you ever meet Aaliyah, or was she around recording during the time?
It was before her first project, so she was really young. She might have been 14 when I first met her, and she was around the camp, and it was known that he was, she was going to be the next big artist, and he was working on her project. And I just thought it was pretty odd how much time that she spent together with him and also alone with him as well.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for answering that.
Wow. So the statement that her mom had made that they never left her side, we can kind of debunk.
That's BS. I never seen her mom when I was there. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff has recently come out about Aaliyah and Rob's relationship that people were hesitant to talk about for the last 15, 20 years, maybe because, she's no longer here, but, it's stuff that I've gone on the record even before most of this stuff came out. Rob had a relationship with her mom.
I told y'all. Didn't I tell
So
you?
that was
Okay,
true.
say that
That's
one more
true.
time.
Absolutely.
Hold on.
And he
Wait a minute.
met Aaliyah at 12 years old. I've been told we've been following this case
Yeah.
about two,
You
3 years.
said,
I'm from Detroit. And everybody was, oh, Kim, you don't know what, how you gonna tell me what I don't know?
Right.
so
It
you
was,
said, can you say that one more time? Because I think I might have blinked out. Say that last statement.
Rob slept with his mom.
Oh, Lord.
And he slept with Aaliyah.
Oh,
Lord
Lord.
have mercy.
Oh, Lord. There,
Wow.
and these are rumors that, we've heard, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, it's really
Yeah.
messed up to me that her mother would lie and say we never left her side, knowing that's not true. So, and basically calling people liars who come out with the truth.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
Because,
he's been doing.
and then for Drea to take Aaliyah's nickname, to me, I don't know if she was given it or she took it. Aaliyah had the name before she even met her R. Kelly.
You talking about baby girl?
Yeah. Because she was so small frame in high school. And I didn't go to the same high school, but her presence, we would know when she was about to get her, get signed and she met R. Kelly, that hit the street. We talked all in lunchrooms and stuff, and we used to call her like, oh, she like little sis, the baby girl. I remember knowing her nickname before she met R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Well,
find that
the baby
strange
girl
that
I
Drea
was
adopted
referring
that.
to was Drea, his wife, his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
when you
what
met
we
him,
call her.
so so you said 94, right? That you met him, or that you were, that's when you.
Yeah, that's when I started working for him.
Okay, and that was the year she was there, and the wife also. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Or she wasn't there yet. Drea wasn't there.
The wife was there as well. She was a backup dancer, and Rob was dating.
She was a backup.
Rob was dating the baby girl as well as Aaliyah, and it used to be a competition between them two. He had a little dog. It was a pug. He called him 12 Play. And whoever had 12 Play basically was with Rob that weekend. So if you seen Aaliyah and she had 12 Play, believe me, baby girl was pissed. She was hanging around. It was like they controlled the dog. Whoever had the dog was with Rob that week.
We heard this too from Lizette Martinez. I remember her telling us the same thing. Wow.
Exactly. Jim Derogatis and Lizette Martinez, and it's in one of the articles with Tiffany Hawkins as well. But 12 Play was a hell of a 12 Play in all aspects.
Yeah, he loved that dog to death and ended up leaving the dog in the car. The dog died of heat stroke. He was devastated. But yeah, 12 Play was on tour with us. He got treated better than a lot of the people that work for Rob.
Wow. That's awful. Mr. Lovell, we've talked about Kel's lyrics before and how true to life they were. Did you recognize that with the 12 Play tour?
Not at the time. Like I said, hindsight is 2020. We got 25 years behind us now looking at this stuff and allegations and stuff where there weren't many allegations. There were just rumblings of him liking, younger girls or whatever. When we were on tour, we started to notice, that most of the girls that were around or hanging around look too young. You know what I'm saying?
As a man, so you're saying as a man, because we've talked about this as women, but as a man, when you meet a girl who looks young, like people make it seem like, like a Geronda Pace, for instance, who was 16, lied about her age, but she looked probably younger than 16.
Yeah, there's some 16-year-olds that look like 20, 25-year-olds. But, the average 16-year-old, you'll be able to tell through the conversation, through everything else. And, a real man knows, a woman. And it's the difference between a woman and a little girl.
Thank you. Because like you said, there are just regular girls. And there are girls who look older, but typically there's a somewhere you can sense. Like there's something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, cool. We do have a question here. I mean, Hazel E is like, where are your facts at regarding Aaliyah and the mother? She's asking, where did you, is this confirmed facts from him directly, or which
Listen, this is facts. I mean, I was there during the time. To be honest with you, Rob, when he was young, if he was working with a female artist or whatever, I mean, he pretty much slept with everybody he was working with and every female he was associated with.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted a piece of Rob. Rob was up and coming. He was a musical genius. He was very flattering, good looking. He was the next best thing, multimillionaire. I mean, it was easy for him. And I mean, he worked with anywhere from gospel artists. He slept with all of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to name names, but yeah, Rob was sleeping with all the women he was working for and everybody that was around him. He slept with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
We
Allegedly, Dillion Sheffield. Is that name familiar to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the church members that's supposed to have been joining hands and all this stuff.
Yeah, some pretty well-known gospel singers. And, you know, yeah.
Miss Lovell, did you have you ever heard anything about he's been rumored that he was on that island when Aaliyah passed away?
No, I didn't hear anything about that. And at the time, to be honest with you, there was a rift between the two camps. That's when Aaliyah had matured. They had separated them. And, you know, she realized she had been taken advantage of. The older she grew and she became a young woman and started associating with other people in the industry because he kept everybody away from her. When she started associating with everybody and she realized that she was taken advantage of. So there was really no contact between the two at all.
Yeah. For the record, everybody, this is a stand-up man. I did my research from the last time he came, and I want to thank you. And I'm just glad that he's being put to an end. And do you believe that it would be other celebrities called on that stand, or possibly?
You know what? I don't even think that it's necessary to have so much on him just for the simple fact he never stopped doing what he was doing. I mean, this is somebody who continued this behavior over 30 years. And there's just so much, there's no need to call another witness. They got everything they need. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. But do you think that it has to do with the fact that in 2008, he's, you know, slipped out of it, you know? Even though we know it's not 2008, we you know.
Well, the thing about it is, you know, at the time he was at the height of his power.
Yeah.
As far as in the industry, he made so much money for the music industry, for these record executives, and people just turned a blind eye. He basically paid everybody off, drugged the trial off, you know what I'm saying, paid people to go away. And, you know, that's basically what happened to him. It showed how powerful he is. But his one mistake is he continued the behavior, you know, so.
Yeah.
His second
mistake. Sorry for a cat like that.
Yeah, first mistake was doing it in the first place. Second mistake, keep on doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got one last question. I know you're ready to move on.
Let me ask this real quick for Hazel-Lee.
Okay.
You could go ahead and she's asking, did you know Javante Cunningham?
No.
Okay. And Javante said she was there with Aaliyah, right? So
yes,
it would have been around the same time frame somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Background vocalist. Right.
Okay. Well, Aaliyah's mother says she was lying. I'm not saying she's lying, but I'm just saying, you know, that's
most of the time we seen Aaliyah was when we were rehearsing, when we were still in Chicago. He was working on the project, so she would pop in, pop out, and then on tour, you know, she would pop in and pop out and stuff like that. We see her at the hotel, we see her on the bus, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Right.
With her and her posse, probably. So
no, she didn't have a posse, but she was
no
posse.
Okay, that's how he liked it, right? Okay,
yeah.
Forgot about that. She didn't have no people. Wow, he was her people. That's really
absolutely sad. Yeah. This before she, you know, she had people. He was grooming her. You know what I'm saying? As far as becoming a star and whatever else they was doing.
Oh man, Mr. Lovell, did you ever see Rashana Landfair around?
No. A lot. Let me tell you, it's hundreds. It could be thousands of women over 30 years. So most of my time spent with Rob was in rehearsal, on the basketball court, you know, going out to eat, on a tour bus, stuff like that. After parties, stuff like that. And believe me, it was enough time, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
when we were on the road, that's all we did. We worked, we played together, you know what I'm saying? Rehearsed together. So a lot of the other women that shows up in the shows and in the indictments and stuff, a lot of times I didn't know them. I hadn't seen them. You know, the band
Right.
was a family. We were in a unit, you know, when we were on tour together.
And he did keep y'all separated.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say that's what he did.
He tried to keep it separate. I mean, the band was pretty close. He kept the dancers, the female dancers, on the bus with him, and for obvious reasons, so he can control them. He was sleeping with all of them, and again, they were young women. They were being taken advantage of. They came from Chicago. They had nothing to go back to. You know what I'm saying? They touring the world with one of the greatest artists, making thousands of dollars a week. I mean, so he used that to his advantage. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame them at all for what was going on. He was power tripping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was typical, I think, for him to compartmentalize different people and
Yeah,
keep people set up a certain way.
divided. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Um, let's see. Getting questions. He allegedly slept with men too. So yeah, we had the new uncharged acts that came in, including John Doe
Yeah.
victim. What are your thoughts? So did you see anything, that would say to you that this, it was.
No, not at that time. Later on there was rumors and stuff, but I never witnessed anything uh of the sort. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it doesn't surprise me when you get that perverted and to the level that he was at. I mean, I guess ordinary sex couldn't do it for him, and you just keep reaching heights and reaching for more heights and more heights. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Okay. So Michelle Hurd, I don't believe Lovell would know this for sure, but we do have the book we're going to read starting tomorrow. But she's asking, is it true that Aaliyah was drugged before getting on the plane? Um,
That she was what? Drugged?
yeah, it was reported that she was carried to the plane. She was kind of passed out.
No.
This is, I believe, in the
I
book.
wasn't there, but that was part of my camp. She was there shooting a video. I mean, that's the first time I heard something like that. I mean, a lot of stuff is sensationalized
Yeah.
to sell books, but that's the first time I ever heard of that, and it's been 30 years. I don't know why that's the first time I would hear something like that, but no.
Okay. Well, like I said, this was in the book that had just came out. We're going to do a book reading
Okay.
starting tomorrow, actually. So if anybody's interested, join the channel so you can come on to the members only, VIP access only book reading. So Warrior Book Club, let's go tomorrow night. All right. So go ahead. Beautiful.
The author that wrote the book, she spoke out the other day, but she had mentioned in the beginning of her book, she said that was the first story that was told just within the industry that
Mhm.
that she was given these pills and she was basically out of it, and her members carried her onto the plane, and she tracked down this young man at the time. He made a video, and he would have been a child he was the baggage carrier. And so she said that was the first story that like executives told people just within the industry, but it was other rumors outside of any artist or actor.
Uh-huh.
So I
Well,
thought that was something.
I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't just discount what she
Yeah.
says. That was the first time I heard of it, but it wouldn't be uncommon for her to be out of it, shooting a video on location in the Bahamas in another country. It's grinding, you 16 hours in front of the camera, dancing, choreography, all that stuff. So it wouldn't be uncommon for her to be out of it, when it's time to fly. I mean, we all went through that. We were tired, we were drained. So, as far as drugs, I don't know anything about that, but it wouldn't be far-fetched to say she was out of it because of the amount of work that has to be done.
Yeah, because the author, she said that the taxi cab driver and her son, the son that said he witnessed that she had refused to leave out of the taxi cab because that's how much she was adamant of not boarding the plane. And then
Mhm.
she developed a headache from all the arguing. Her staff was arguing with the pilot, allegedly.
Right.
and somebody went in the back seat of the cab, gave her these pills because he said he's the one who gave her the water, and she knocked out. And I don't know, but I guess we'll find out what's facts and what's
Like I
not.
said, it could have been true to calm your nerves, but it's a common known that nobody likes to fly on those prop planes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you over the weight limit. You're taking off. You're flying with gear. You're taking off stuff back and forth. I mean, we've been in the situation plenty of times too, where we had to over the weight limit. We had to take stuff off, and a lot of musicians don't want to travel without their axe or the guitar, so they stay behind, and it's always a mess when you're flying on those small planes like that. And a lot of people, it makes them nervous. She could have took something to calm her nerves. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But I
we
doubt that
drugs
anybody
is
would. I mean, Aaliyah at that time, she had been in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I doubt that somebody can put something in her body without her knowing what she did. And I'm not saying she not above something to calm her nerves, or what I'm saying. Just because of what goes into it, it's common. For folks to calm their nerves or whatever advice they might have. You know what I'm saying, to keep going or whatever. So I'm not going to discount what the author says. But hey, I wasn't there.
right. I was gonna say that drugs. Back to R. Kelly and speaking
Uh-huh.
of drugs, have been coming up with these stories about him and some of the situations. That's like he keeps the girls doped up. Pretty much is what
Uh-huh.
we heard. Pills and that
Yeah.
type of.
So this would be further along. When I was touring with R. Kelly, he didn't even smoke.
I
He
was gonna
didn't.
ask you, was he
He didn't
sober?
drink.
Uh-huh.
Definitely was no drugs. I mean, it was just adamant. You know what I'm saying? So after I left, a few hours later, you start seeing with cigars and cognac and drinking, but it was no drinking, no smoking.
Yeah.
It was all work. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
What about his spirituality? Did he people say he was so spiritual, but what did you see on that side
Yeah.
of him, if anything?
Yeah, he was very spiritual. He comes from a spiritual family. His brothers are spiritual. All their lives though seem to be in turmoil. A lot of stuff happened to him as children and stuff. Has come out. They had been molested by their sister. Just a lot of family trauma that hadn't been dealt with. So I understood where all this was coming from. But it's like now you're a millionaire. You have resources to get help, get your family help, whatever you need to do to stop the cycle, and it just never was done. But yeah, he was spiritually tormented.
Mm.
Our musical director and one of the guys who was responsible for R. Kelly's sound and actually produced a lot of the records that R. Kelly produced on other artists. He was a pastor of a church, and Rob plucked him out. Lafayette Carthon is one of the baddest piano players ever. He played on all the Anita Baker stuff, the Michael Jackson stuff, everything that R. Kelly did back then. That sound that was created by Lafayette Carthon.
Never heard of
He
that.
he was actually he lives in Cleveland. He was actually a pastor, and he would never perform on stage because that was against his religion. But he came up with the whole show, all the orchestrated, all the musical stuff. He did that, and he directed us. But he would never get on stage because that wasn't you know that wasn't what he was about. And as Rob became bigger and became more controversial, he stepped away from it.
Wow.
Mm. He just stepped away from him.
Lafayette Carthon, y'all look him up. Bad boy.
What's the last name again?
Carthon.
Okay. Carthon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh wow, that's interesting. He seems to be good for that. I had read something about the guy who started who was the first label, Tab Dash Records, I think. That R. Kelly was on, and he actually got him on to Jive. He helped him with the Jive deal. But the man, 4 years later, went to jail for a 1 count of cocaine trafficking, I think, but for life. And the son was saying that they were reaching out to different people, and R. Kelly was one, for just a shout out on stage, just to get some type of support. He said he never heard from him, never responded, nothing. And this guy is supposedly responsible for, his rise,
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. It takes a village to to get somebody to that level.
Right, of
But
course.
nobody's responsible but R. Kelly. That's a God-given talent that he had. Everybody else saw it in him, and a lot of people hitched their train, to that engine. There's a lot of people along the way that could say they helped, helped him along the way and got him to where he was. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, this man supposedly gave him $30,000 in cash to go get this video done that he needed to get
yeah,
$30,000 is a lot of money. But yeah, I
yeah.
hear you. Absolutely. I feel you on that. Okay, let's get into Geronda. I want to talk about the trial. So I'm going to play this real quick.
Of singer R. Kelly's sex trafficking trial in federal court in Brooklyn, with Geronda, previously known as before taking the stand.
She was submitted to hours of cross-examination as the defense tried to poke holes in her story. CBS 2's Jessica Moore live in downtown Brooklyn with the latest on this. Jessica.
Christine and Dick, Geronda's claim has been that Kelly exposed her to herpes without her knowledge. And in what could turn out to be a potentially significant moment for the defense during cross-examination, Kelly's lawyers used the witness's own testimony to show that not only did Kelly tell her he had the STD, he actually physically examined her for the disease. Defense counsel walking into federal court for day 2 of R. Kelly's sex trafficking trial. Looking forward to the truth being told. Kelly accuser Geronda, at 9 months pregnant, returned for a second day of testimony. She told the jury Kelly mentally and physically abused her, making her wait as long as 3 days to use the bathroom and forcing her to dress up as a Girl Scout when they had sex. Their sexual relationship began when Geronda was only 16, and she says Kelly recorded it. Defense attorneys trying to poke holes in her story, painting her as a crazed fan. At one point, Kelly's attorney asked the witness, quote, "You were stalking him, weren't you?" The defense accused Geronda of breaking into Kelly's home, waiting hours for his autograph, and even skipping school to support him at a previous trial, which she lied to her mother about.
Their stories may have changed, the memories have faded, and that's normal. And that's what the defense is going to be zeroing in on.
Geronda also admitted she'd received 2 financial settlements from Kelly and had written a book about their relationship, which earned her at least $25,000. Kelly's defense accused her of lying for financial gain. Geronda fought through tears as she read a journal entry from the day she left Rob, reading, quote, "I went to Rob's house and Rob gave me a silly expletive. He slapped me 3 times and said if I lied to him again, it's not going to be an open hand next time. Spit in my face and mouth. He choked me during an argument. I had sex with him. I had oral sex with him. Then I became fed up with him," meaning Rob, "and came home and confessed." At least 4 other women are expected to take the testifying against R. Kelly, are learning that R. Kelly could take the stand in his own defense, but that would be several weeks away.
Oh, Lord.
We're live at the Brooklyn Federal Courthouse. Jessica Moore, CBS 2 News.
That would be the worst mistake of his life if he did that.
The judge encouraged him to do it. If you recall, during one of the hearings, she told him it might be in your best interest to tell the jury about who you are or something like that. So what do y'all think about this? Lovell, what do you think hearing these things, these allegations, the spitting, the choking? I mean, does that seem far-fetched?
No, not at all. Sounds like some of the same behavior that was going on 20-something years ago and never stopped it. I would hear stories of the dancers that he was involved with, how he controlled them. He wouldn't let them use the bathroom. The same stuff. He just took it to another level. I mean, he just never stopped the behavior.
Yeah. I even found two videos, one with Yuck Mouth and one with Gilly the Kid. And they both spoke about how he had like a militant training, like the girls, nobody used to say nothing to him, look at him.
I have the video. I was
Absolutely.
to play some of that, so you don't have to recap.
Same thing with the dancers back in the day. Yeah, he was a control freak. It was all about control.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things to unpack. There's a lot of things to unpack in that little news bite. The fact that she said, they're basically cross-examining her. You have to realize she was 16, right?
Correct.
And they're asking her things that, as if she wasn't 16.
Exactly.
She had to skip school. Number one, that's what children do.
Mm-hmm.
ask their parents for permission. Parents, children do that, right?
Absolutely.
So sounds to me they know she's a child. So I don't get what,
Absolutely.
You know,
You know,
I think it's very important that you raise the fact that they're looking at this 20-year-old married woman that is about to give birth. And, you know, the strategy, of course, of the defense is to portray her as a groupie, stalker, or whatever. But what cannot be lost sight on is that she was a minor.
mhm,
And the fact of the matter, um, the Judge Ann, because the defense took over 2 hours to cross-examine, and of course they were rephrasing, you know, um, reiterating and trying to, make her look that she wasn't a victim. She was a stalker of some sort. So the judge, on 2 occasions today, stopped the defense and told them to move it along. And what I don't want everybody to lose sight of is that there is 12 people, regular people, that come up there with their own beliefs, their own ideals, and all these things. But those type of things where got a jury up there for 2 hours, which should probably took in about an hour, but you're dragging something along where maybe some people might have thought, well, maybe she shouldn't have did this and she made this money or whatever. They're going to start to have empathy for this woman about to give birth, and listening to the horrendous details of slapping, kicking, dressing up as a Girl Scout, and all. And, they had showed text messages and all this stuff. So I don't know. People are thinking today that so much was in his favor. I really don't understand that
no,
part.
let me tell you, nothing is in his favor. This trial is a formality with the mountains of evidence that they have, of intimidation, of all the young women that he's done this to. Believe me, they have more than enough. This is a formality, basically. I mean, the defense has to say something. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
everybody knows what it is. You know what I'm saying? Where, back in 2008 or whatever, there might have been some doubt, or, it wasn't a matter of fact. Everybody know it's a matter of fact in 2021.
And they said that Yolanda Page, and I salute her for being courageous and strong, and her story never changed. And I hope she has a healthy delivery. But they said that the video collaborated the description of the room, even with when he was hitting her and stuff. That was all the
Yeah.
videotape. It collaborated her story, and they seen that audio, video, and her testimony.
Yeah.
And this is the evidence being rolled in yesterday. I got to keep playing this, y'all.
Yeah.
Since you came in right on time,
I was like, oh, yeah, we got the evidence.
And I mean, the wheels was going, y'all. You see the car go ahead.
Wow.
And people carrying other stuff. And the people want to say they don't have evidence. And this is additional evidence. This is evidence that is just newly being submitted here. So
yeah, they got 30 years of evidence.
Yeah, I had to get that. So much evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Something else here I wanted to show. What is this? These are the attorneys. No, that's all red. Okay. So I wanted to show something else. What was that? You sent me something, huh? Lovely. Warrior.
Yes.
Not the CBS thing, but it was something. Oh, the entrance.
Yes.
Nicole. Okay, let me show this too real quick. Is this showing up for y'all? No. Okay, hold on. We gotta show the fans now.
Well, yesterday, opening statements with his defense team, Lovell, Miss Tricky Nikki Becker, she did a horrible, terrific job of a horrible job.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So here's
What prompted you to get the tattoo? What made you get the tattoo?
Injustice.
She got a tattoo with injustice across her chest, y'all.
I got the tattoo.
I mean, wait, Robert, what does it say? Robert Sylvester.
Injustice.
She got the, she asked her, why did you get it? She said, injustice.
Y'all analyze the people. That lady in that dress, she had the same dress on today when they walked in, the one holding the purse in the back. You could tell disability. This woman probably the caregiver. This lady in the red, they out of line for dragging her out of the house. She probably come from a group. I don't need to prejudge, but she's standing there like he got supporters of special mentally challenged people, if you ask me.
You know what's funny? All these super fans, beautiful spirit, that are pretty much close to his age, that can't separate the R. Kelly from Robert Sylvester, the pedophile. We know that's a problem, right? He never was interested in none of them women his age, that all the ones that are diehard supporters, loving his music, right?
Yeah.
I hope the authorities do not let them keep hanging outside on the sidewalk, harassing the reporters, harassing anybody that's, the professional. I just hate that they're allowed to, drink chalk and write the honey and the bees and the hopscotch on the sidewalk and all this bullshit. And
they got freedom of speech. They got freedom of speech. They had Janet from New York out there today playing his song and Free R. Kelly. Where are the parents? Where are the parents? Free R. Kelly, playing his music in front of all the media. She was by herself, but there is freedom of speech. So we can't.
But I'm saying like right outside the doors of the courtroom.
That's right. They can. That's right. It's freedom of speech.
Terrible.
That's part of our democracy. So they want to sit out there and cheer on a pedophile, then that's their choice. And that's what we got to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because they making themselves look sick because you out here cheering on a pedophile.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry if I'm coming across strong on that, because I know how we all believe, and I know, beautiful spirit, you right. They out there looking like complete fools, and we want the police to lock them up, but they do have that freedom of speech.
It's the harassment of the people, like the non-supporters. That's how they got spit on out there in New York. The non-supporters was like, didn't agree. Soon as they said no, I believe he's guilty. Oh, F you, B, woo, all in front of, and I'm just like, that I just don't understand. But to harass the people right at the doors of the court, of the federal court building, like that to me shouldn't be allowed. They should tell them, go stand over there in that zone, but you can't be.
But do you understand how the media targeted them? Because what is the media basically doing? They're not showing this to say, wow, look at these supporters. Isn't that awesome?
Oh,
no, they're showing it to saying they look like a bunch of damn fools.
They look.
Yeah, I know.
Let's show Nicole Blank Becker, his attorney, walking in with the fans, child. Look, let's see.
She was about to fall over. The bags were so heavy, or whatever she was carrying. They was dragging, slinging her. Looked like she had two walk while and slinging her around.
I don't know if y'all can hear the audio on this. It's low. We love you, Nicole.
Tricky Dicky.
She cokehead.
You guys can barely hear, but the fans are in the background saying, "Oh, yeah, don't talk. That's smart. Yeah, don't say nothing to these people."
Look at her. She's shaking. She got like.
She said, "Tell them the truth." Whoever did this video is basically calling him a pedophile. This is on AP. Wow.
She took all the Illuminati powder.
And we know, Goddess. We know Farinello wasn't gonna say nothing. And I just want to make one comment on that, if it's okay, about his tweeting, or did you want me to wait?
No, it's fine. No, I got that coming up.
Okay.
Savages. That's the baby sister, I believe. Jai.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Gloria Allred. She said she's only coming when her clients are going to testify. That's what she told him. So, Okay. So stop this.
I wonder if Gloria got her telephone book. Have y'all noticed when she do her press conference, when she bring out the client she represented, she put her telephone book in the chair?
No, I never noticed that.
Yeah, when she had the Baltimore girls, she put the telephone book in the chair. The
Wow.
old school telephone book.
Yeah, a lot went on today, y'all. So let's just to recap a little bit. You know, yesterday was the first day of opening arguments. Yeah, we're still celebrating that. We didn't know if this day was gonna make it get here. Okay, all the shenanigans and whatnot. But so during opening statements, the prosecution laid out everything they had as far as the victim witnesses, the Jane Does 1 through 6. What type of evidence they're going to lay out. They said they have digital, video depictions, audio, witness testimony. They have DNA, stuff, which I believe was submitted today from. I think it came up yesterday. So, but they said somebody was saying that the actual shirt submitted as evidence today with his DNA on there. You know, so. Then she was so then that testimony continued today, and then she was cross-examined as well. So
Goddess, one of the supporting channels actually came out and said that the shirt with the DNA evidence was thrown away. I mean, a complete lie.
That was the judge allowed it. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah, the judge definitely allowed that in. As I don't know why people want to continue to lie to their supporters. I guess because that's the best way they can get donations. They come over there to hear what they want to hear, as opposed to the truth. So I guess that's what that is. But yeah. I guess you should charge admission if you're gonna be making up stories like that every day, all day.
Right. Because you guys, Rob told me today because he was able to do the case for me. Have to say it's prepared because the judge didn't allow them to bring these things because they didn't have nothing to bring.
Yeah. So day 2, let's see, I'm on Court TV and they're saying outside the presence of the jury. Okay, so yeah, the judge had to get involved on a couple things. The judge, so okay, it says outside the presence of the jury, prosecutors informed the court about one of Kelly's defense attorneys, Thomas Farinella, tweeting from the courtroom, violating one of the judge's rules, local rule 23.1. So I guess
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about
that's what Love Warrior was about to speak on. I was like, I'm gonna bring that up, but let me share the screen so we can see the tweet. I think it's going around. I remember seeing the tweet. Let's see.
I appreciate your time, Mr. Lovell, and sorry for the overwhelming questions.
Oh no, not at all. I appreciate you guys having me.
Oh no, we
thank you so much.
Yesterday with his attorneys, this gonna get worse and worse.
You know what? The judge admonishing Farinella is, not. I know that of course she's being easy on him because she could throw a contempt on him, a censure on him, anything, right? So the fact that she just admonished him, like, better, don't be going against my rules. Like, this is federal court. This is not downtown criminal. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, when a federal judge tells you don't talk to the media, that's what they mean.
Yeah. And here's what she said in quotes, actually. She said, it says, Judge asked Farinella, didn't I tell you not to speak to media? Farinella said, no, it violated the rule and wouldn't do it again. How do you not know when she told you? What kind of attorney are you anyway?
The whole defense is a joke. Yeah. This is his third team. He's out of money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of stuck with whoever wanted to take his case at this point, because they know he's broke. He doesn't have the money. And, if they're on the case, it's probably because they want some notoriety. That's it, because they ain't getting much money. So, like I said, this whole case is a formality.
Why exactly? I was like, just basically, I feel like this too, that they're setting up just to try to appeal at least. And and they're just showing up and doing the, what they got to do, like you said. I agree with you. So,
It's too much evidence over a long period of time. Believe me. I mean, you know how much evidence they have in a normal case. You're talking about 30 years of evidence, Texas, everybody that worked for them. I mean, when the feds come and get you, they already got you.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And
And the
these
tweet,
attorneys act like the feds are not gonna catch what they're doing. That's the part I don't understand. These dummies.
and the dummy is the lawyer who tweets when the judge says, "Don't tweet. You got the trial is about to start. What are you doing?" So he tweeted.
Right.
At this point, the public has only heard one side of the story in this case, and that is about to change in the coming weeks. We look forward to the truth and the facts coming to light as the defense will continue to vigorously defend Mr. Kelly. And to me, this is pandering to an audience. You don't need to do that. Your job is to defend your client.
That's right.
Yeah.
And them all basing that, oh, we're not worrying about if, he gets convicted because his trial will be overturned on appeal. They don't have a friggin' clue. This is federal court. The appeal process is years.
Man, he couldn't even get on bail. How many times
they will overturn a federal judge? That's why she's running such a tight courtroom.
Look,
to make
he tried
sure
to get bond for 8 times, and he couldn't get bond. So you were saying he's going to appeal the whole thing? They couldn't even get some of the charges dismissed right before the trial started. They tried to pull slip one over, like, oh, we're new here. Let's try to get some charges dismissed. No, you're new here, but you also agreed and confirmed that you are going to be able to move forward with no issues and no hiccups. But even after you said that, you've tried to get delays. You did this, you did that. You need Post-its and highlighters and this and that. Like, you have issues, and it's not our fault. You jumping on here for, I think, the cameras, for the publicity, to raise the attention of your brand, your law firm. Like, come on now. But it says here, unlike the other 3 members of Kelly's defense team, Thomas Farinella is not newly hired, but yet he acts like the newbie on the block. It says, while it wasn't until Kelly's former counsel, Steve Greenberg, withdrew that Farinella became more publicly visible. Farinella tells Court TV he actually wrote Kelly's bond appeal in 2019 and is counsel for the R&B star on the New York Supreme Court civil case. And why he would bring up the bond appeal is beyond me, because that was a complete fail, as all of them have.
Exactly.
So he tweets more better and fluently than he can speak verbally.
So Geronda Pace, there was a direct cross-examination. So let's see, they just the bullet points before, because I have another page that has the detail, the quotes and stuff, but this one just the bullet points. The conversations with Kelly were short. Recalls Kelly's number, but not her mother's or her own at the time. Made calls to Kelly even after initiating a lawsuit. Defense asked if she was stalking him, which she denied. I mean, a 16-year-old fangirl, I mean, that's what they do. I mean, that doesn't mean you get abused. The 2 things don't have anything to do with each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also think it was a good strategy, not to try to give them any point, but let's just look at it objectively, that because we all thought that Chicky Nikki would be the one to cross-examine her. And I thought it was good strategy on the defense to have, what is his name, Kranich?
Yeah.
Okay. Come up there to question her, because Tricky Nikki would have been too emotional and too attacking. But come to find out, funny. Yeah.
I think, was she the one that accused Geronda of, she said that you broke and snuck into his home, you broke and breaking entry because you were so much of a stalker?
I think she might have said that in her argument. She did say some things about her. I think a part of it is also that happened yesterday in her opening argument. I mean, can they even risk her taking the helm on anything at this point? I guess. But you're right.
Even if she broke into his house, stood there butt naked, she's a 16-year-old child.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Right. And she did eventually show him an ID, and he told her to fake it anyway. Still pretend like you're 19. And I believe she did. She probably was scared too. Like, okay, let me show my ID because I'm still, I don't know about all this. Because mind you, a 16-year-old girl, I think she said she was a virgin. Yeah. We give her herpes. He said, yeah, he did that. Now, mind you, being in that role with this man, like not just a man, but this man, this big beast of a monster, all this fame and popularity and clout, and yet with that mean streak too. That's scary shit. She showed him the idea to get the hell out of there.
He's standing over you and telling you next time it ain't gonna be with an open hand. I mean, he could have killed one of these young girls or boys. He could, or women, because adults, abuse. You can hit somebody inside the head. They can have bleeding on the brain. You could crack. I mean, anything. They can go in a coma. Some of them girls, then you giving them drugs, drugging them. They might be allergic to something. I mean, it's just, this man was doing too much. I mean, it's just too much. And I cried when I read, when they said she read her diary out loud. My heart goes out to all of the survivors, the victims, all of them.
And we have to remember too that this is only day 2. She's only the victim number 1. And the thing about, shout out to Geronda, is that a lot of people feel familiar enough to speak on her or call her a liar because she's been in the public eye through surviving R. Kelly and wrote this book. So the supporters feel like, oh, this was a win for them because she has been in the public eye. But it doesn't going to speak to victim after victim, evidence after evidence comes up. You know what I'm saying? That they're not familiar with. Right.
But she said that if she could do it all over again, she would, because she heard about, the other girls after she left, that she had to do something because she said nobody was there for her. So that's why. She pulled it together, boy. I commend her a lot. I really do hope this stress, especially this
about to give birth, beautiful spirit. We are about to give birth any day. She's 9 days from giving birth, meaning she could go anytime. In this kind of pressure and stress, carrying that beautiful baby. For her to get up there, shout out. We got to ring the bell for Geronda. Yes, mama.
Yeah. I gotta get my bell. Let me flip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I hope the warriors, the ancestors, try to get in and outside of that whole courtroom and turn it out and shield all of the witnesses, everybody that's on the prosecutor's side. The judge, the prosecutors, whoever got to view the evidence, the jury, keep them all safe, their sanity, because I can only imagine they mental. I can only imagine.
Yeah, and it goes on to say she met with the prosecutor 6 hours on Monday, because I'm sure they were basically they said she was rehearsed, is what they said, because apparently she was very calm and monotone, and there was she did read the excerpt from her journal. She got emotional, they said, for the first time, but she was strong, holding tough, and they want to punish her for that strength to say that you're rehearsed or over rehearsed. What they wanted was to break down and crumble, which didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it also went on to say about the cross exam that it says knows the prosecutors on a first name basis, went over questions with prosecutors, says she testified that Kelly recorded sexual intercourse. Kelly requested for her to dress as a Girl Scout in pigtails during intercourse at times. I mean, come on, man.
Just disgusting.
He got it full character too at times, what they say in his Girl Scout.
Okay, I was gonna say he probably dressed as a Girl Scout himself sometimes.
They take 3 hours.
Can you imagine? You put a wig on, child, put the little clothes on.
I was trying to see, did he get a quick weave or sew in? Was it lace front or?
He put a wig on. He wasn't no lace front either. It was a store bought, a CVS wig.
Panties, he wanted to wear Monday, Tuesday, and Smurf panties.
Yeah, so it also says arranged visits with Kelly through phone, including the phone shown on the phone. Wait. Arranged visits with Kelly through phone, including on the phone shown. I don't know what that means. Does that mean it was shown on the phone?
It was shown in court.
They showed it.
the records goddess, and they showed the
It
text.
showed the actual, okay. And it says went through call records. Okay, went through call records showing calls and messages between witness and defendant. Shows images including one of Geronda with Rob tattooed on her body, later covered with the black heart, which we spoke on yesterday.
So these are texts and phone conversations they have from 2008. Can you imagine how much evidence they have? You know, this is just the tip of the iceberg. That's why I said this is all a formality. It doesn't even warrant anybody getting their emotions raised up or nothing. It's a formality. R. Kelly's going to jail for life.
Yeah.
He slapped the justice system in the face the first time when he got it, you know, basically thumbed his nose, kept the behavior, and this is where we are today. We got your ass again. We ain't letting you go this time. That's basically what's going to happen.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Lovell. That's right.
When they picked him up while he was outside with Believe, he had video conversations.
And I was talking to somebody, and I was just saying, imagine being picked up like he did, like he was picked up off the street. He was outside with the dog and whatever, his phone. I know he wished, well, I guess it didn't matter if he left his phone upstairs or not. They won't get it anyway. But they took that from him on the spot, and he went to jail and ain't been home since. Versus somebody like a Larry McGee, or a grown man, everybody who knows that is, who turned himself in. You know, you have time to plan and make sure loose ends are tied up, and you know, make sure everybody's good. And so there, I was talking to them about that different dynamic of like just being snatched off the street. Imagine that with him, and now he's facing the world and having to answer to these allegations. I heard a YouTube supporter, say something. She was basically crying, saying how hurtful it must be for him to have to sit there and face his accusers. And I'm thinking, well, you did that a little backwards, I think.
Absolutely.
Like they deserve this accountability.
Absolutely.
You know? So
I don't understand why these people babysit him and take baby steps. It's all this. Even with Mr. Bivens, you know, in that interview at the BBC, he's like being careful. I don't want to call him that. I mean, if that's what, but you know, like, come on, it is what
you know
it
what?
is.
Rocky was careful because he's still in entertainment. He still has a lot of connections, and this is people's livelihood. You know what I'm saying? So no matter how bad R. Kelly was or whatever, if he's still dependent on the check, you know, people look at what you say to the press and might feel some kind of way of hiring you. Not that they're doing something wrong, but because, you know, the privacy and you spoke on stuff in public. So people are very careful because this is their livelihood.
I know it's like even Demetrius Smith, you know, 1 minute, he developed into a monster, he started changing him. Then the next minute is, well, he liked to play basketball. He's just a kid. He would just play in the house. I mean, he don't mean no harm. He's still a little boy. I don't understand it. He's not a child. This man is almost 60.
The problem is with Demetrius, and all of us was close. Demetrius, my cat, still love him to death.
I was going to ask you. I remembered you saying you knew him. So
when you with someone when they are a kid, you still see them as a kid. You know what I'm saying? It's like Demetrius was really instrumental in developing him and guiding his career professionally. Demetrius was one who tried to put out the fire with Rod was starting. You know what I'm saying? So he got caught up in a lot of stuff because his livelihood was tied to this guy. You know what I'm saying? You're making millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? You created this life for yourself and your family, and people depended on you. It's not that you morally accept this stuff. That's we can get through this and then put this behind us. And that's that's kind of the mentality that they had. But it was always something else ahead of them, you know, because he never stopped.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what, Mr. Lovell? There was a woman in Chicago, and she spoke on R. Kelly. Beautiful Spirit actually had that video from Doggy Diamonds, and the woman said that R. Kelly's mentality was slow, like that of a young person.
Yeah.
And is that true? Like, was he like? Because to me, I'm like, I can't discount that they always try to play down about his ability to read and write. And okay, so he's not a college level reader writer, right? But he can
He's
read
not.
and write
No,
to a
he
certain
can't read
degree.
or write at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And there's
But being
definitely some
smart,
issues
like
there
being in the
mentally.
game, being in
Huh?
that game that long, being in the game, in the entertainment game
Hmm.
this long, he had to be intelligent enough to be able to keep this pedophile ring and the way he kept people separate and stuff. So he did have
You know
some
what?
type of knowledge.
It's not about how intelligent you are. It's the people you have around you who are yes men. That's their livelihood. They're doing what they're told, and a lot of times they were the ones that are protecting and keeping people at bay and all this stuff. Of course, you know how to cover up. He's not, mentally challenged to the fact that somebody with Down syndrome, but he does have some mental issues. He has some paranoid issues, maybe a little bit of schizophrenic. He can't read or write. You know what I'm saying? So he's
That's
always
amazing that
very,
he
very
can do that
paranoid.
music and he
Hmm.
can't read or write.
Yeah,
That's
it's a,
amazing.
it's a fine line between genius and insanity.
Yeah.
When it came to the music, he was a genius, and that was, even as a little kid, that was his safe place. You know what I'm saying? His music, his gift.
Yeah.
He would, when everything else was crumbling around him, he would go to that, and that's
Right.
when he developed in such a, he developed his gift and his craft.
Right.
He
Understood.
never said thank you or gave acknowledgement with nobody that has ever done anything for him. Like he's never
Oh no,
acknowledged his
no,
He
he's an
never said
egomaniac.
thank you for helping me with my career. Never thanked Craig
No,
Hodges. Never thanked the who else?
nobody.
Rocky Bivens. He never even gave acknowledgement. Like
Never, ever.
he told a story about he lived on Venice Beach for a month and called Mrs. McGlynn every day from a payphone, and that's how he got his cell phone. When and then he makes up all these stories, these events that happen in his life that never happened, and these relationships with people and family that he never had, and he'll repeat it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a little bit of the details of today's testimony during the cross-examination. I have this article from the Chicago Tribune up, and I want to read a little bit of that. I'm going to stop in some, and of course, jump in if you hear something you want to comment on. Don't be shy. So it says, during a lengthy cross-examination Thursday, Kelly attorney Deborah Canick sought to portray Pace as a starry-eyed Kelly superfan, displaying photos of her taken during his 2008 criminal case. In one, she is walking next to Kelly outside of the Layton Criminal Court building, beaming, leaning around him, trying to catch his eye. Canick also asked a series of extraordinarily detailed questions about what Pace said was her final sexual encounter with Kelly in January of 2010. Did she fall down when he slapped her? Canick asked. Which side of her face did he slap? Did it leave any marks or swelling? Did he slap her first or choke her? Where was she when he spat on her? So these are the questions he was asking. This is why it took so long, because he picked apart every little thing, and he's asking things that I don't think. I mean, what do you think of these questions?
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Because we're talking about when she was 16. So for him like he's gonna remember, like you're gonna remember you were slapped. You're gonna remember the assault, but what side it was, you may not remember that because you do try to block it out. But that's irrelevant. What side it was, he slapped her.
He's hoping that she won't remember. But
yeah.
To be honest with you, you involved with somebody like R. Kelly, a superstar, you're going to remember every single detail. This is not somebody from up the street that you used to go with, and you kind of vaguely remember.
Right.
This is somebody she fantasized about. She was a kid.
She had text messages from 08. Nobody said text messages.
She gonna know every detail. Believe that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, to me it's ridiculous because he's trying to, I guess, catch her up, like you said, and have her trip up or something. But these details, to me, like you said, are irrelevant because the fact that he even slapped her, The fact that he choked her in the first place, like you're saying, oh, well, did he slap you or choke you first? Trying to
And
get her.
the fact that he was still on trial for doing the same thing, and he was getting involved with this minor.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
At the same time.
During the time that he was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Goddess, you know what? That's probably why when Judge Ann probably was getting kind of antsy, like you said, that's probably when she was like, can we move this along when it starts going down a rabbit hole like that?
Yeah, because imagine with all of the testimony they're going to be hearing, if he does this with everyone, we'll never get through this trial.
Right.
I mean, it says Pace, who has spoken publicly about the alleged abuse numerous times, testified in the same distinctive voice familiar from her television appearances, high-pitched, slightly hoarse. She answered Kanek's questions in unembellished, almost monotone sentences, even as he asked if she was a groupie or a stalker or a liar, or if she had a sexual relationship with one of Kelly's associates. Okay. In an effort to poke holes in Pace's story, Kanek noted that in a photo she took of herself at Kelly's mansion, she was in heels and tight-fitting clothes, not baggy clothes, as Pace has allegedly required. Well, was she around other people? Or, it sounds like, because he wanted them covered up because he didn't want nobody else looking at him.
Yeah, when they're around other people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She did not.
And that was one. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, that was just one picture. And that's what I was saying, where he better be careful with these jurors, because jurors are you got to give people credit. People are smart. Like at some point, that can begin to affect, their opinion of what's going on here. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're insulting their intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And her, but I guess that's their intention. It says she did not take photos of herself after Kelly allegedly slapped and choked her, she said, and she went to civil lawyers with her allegations first instead of police. Pace has previously testified that she contacted attorneys because she wanted to press charges, but they advised her against doing so. Pace testified that she was usually confined. Okay, yeah, I'm on that.
Oh, I was just going to say that man had, like Lovell was saying, that man had so much power back then. And you're 16, you already know that, going to the police or, that, I'm sorry, that just, it's hard. They're making it seem that it was an easy step when they probably had people saying, you better not go to the police. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, she went to attorneys that advised her, that she shouldn't, go to the police. If y'all remember, Lanita Carter, when she reported in Detroit, the hair braider, she said that her attorneys and detectives told her the same thing. It's best to just, basically just assume for don't go try to press criminal charges. And then one attorney told her that she knows she wasn't gonna win because she told her the first attorney to get counsel, you know who he is, and do you know how many people that he knows, like far as like how he's protected? I don't want it'll be too much for me, and I advise you to just leave it alone and try to get some money. Now,
and this wasn't Susan Loggins, was it?
No, no, not at all. This was a whole different attorney in Detroit, and then you think about the time frame from Geronda and Lanita Carter. That's something. That means he I think with the record label, a word got out. Attorneys and prosecutors, they probably be at each other's picnics and birthday parties and stuff, like politics or whatever, shaking hands. Guess what I'm gonna do tomorrow? I'm gonna put it on the show. Y'all gonna see the dumb stuff. I'm gonna bring high fiving. They do deals and favors for each other. So especially in this stumping in his hometown.
That money talks, baby.
It goes back to the whole Chicago, Illinois on a federal investigation. He had a lot of people on payroll. And I think with the help of the record label, I really believe that.
Right. Okay. It goes on.
The higher up.
It goes on to say Pace has previously testified that she contacted attorneys because she wanted to press. Oh, okay, we said that. Pace testified she was usually confined to one or two rooms when she was at Kelly's Olympia Fields mansion and could not use the bathroom without his permission. Kanek asked her how long she usually had to wait. Generally, it was fast if I was on his good side, Pace said. The longest period was 3 days.
Oh
Um,
my God.
he went on to
Lord
ask,
have mercy.
but one of the bedrooms where he said, but one of the bedrooms where she was staying had a bathroom attached. Canik pointed out. And and in quotes, it says, "You're in the mirror room. There's a bathroom right there," he said. Yes, Pace said, and Canik changed the subject. She's basically trying to say, I couldn't do shit. He was going to know what I did if I did anything. So I had to ask.
Cameras in the walls.
Yeah, cameras everywhere. Mm-hmm.
And just because there was a bathroom attached didn't mean that she could use it. Because if you notice, he moved the questioning along. He didn't allow her to elaborate.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't want to get beat. I mean, these it's the same story from decades. People that wasn't even thought of and born up. Gilly the Kid confirmed that Drea wore a jogging suit. He threw this big house party, and he told her, "You better hurry up and get what you need out the kitchen, take your butt upstairs," locked her in the room. And he said that all the rooms locked from the outside. So if you're in the bedroom, you can't get out. You got to have a guard or somebody let you out and in.
Oh, right. It says, Canik also had Pace read from a settlement agreement she reached with Kelly, in which the singer denied all wrongdoing and maintained that she showed him an ID proving she was 19. Okay, bringing up the settlement could perhaps be a way to get Kelly's side of the story in front of jurors without having to put him on the witness stand. And let's see, what else does it say here? We talked about the pigtails. She told the jury about the pigtails and the Girl Scout situation. It says Pace said she had given media interviews about her experience, but was not paid for them. However, she made more than $25,000 from a self-published book about her experiences on Amazon. And there's nothing wrong with trying to make a living. Okay.
Exactly.
25,000 sure ain't no living.
It ain't really. Especially she has, how many kids does she have? 5?
Yes, this number. But she's entitled to speak her truth. He never counseled nobody. So if she was lying on him and putting out all these, he never went against nobody.
He didn't sue her for the self-published book, did he?
Never. No. Nobody. And then, I lost my track. Oh, with the it's a lot of people that said, different rooms, and how he kept people separated, like you said, Mr. Lovell. I just, I believe we haven't even heard nothing yet. We think
you ain't heard nothing. Listen.
They found it there, but though,
it's a defense job to do what they have to do to ask the questions. It's a new point at this point. The feds have a 97% conviction rate. They have some of the brightest lawyers. They have mountains of evidence going back 30 years. They got cases that nobody's heard of in the press. R. Kelly had countless suits, civil suits, complaints that you never even heard of. You know what I'm saying? He's settled out of court so many times. People you never heard of that's not in the limelight. They have all this information now. So, I mean, it's going to start. It's going to start popping now.
Wow. Hey, Goddess. Does it mention anything about that mess up Canik did when he tried to trip her up on the questioning with the birth date?
Oh, they said.
I don't know. I haven't gotten through. There's a lot more here, so I don't.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. But I'm just trying to skim through it because stuff. So we talked about the 25,000. Let's see. Canik also asked Pace about an incident at Kelly's home in 2009, during which she alleges Kelly told her to take off her bathing suit, and it made her uncomfortable. Pace had testified she initially told Kelly she was 19, but confessed that she was 16 to him after the incident. And Canik said, "So you just took off your clothes?" And she said, "Yes." Canik asked Pace to read a paragraph from the settlement agreement. We read that. What else?
You know Pace what? He asked her on the settlement. She said something about, well, why did you sign this? She said, because he was trying to silence me. And then Canik said, well, it doesn't say anything about this NDA is silencing you. It says that he wanted the NDA to avoid trial, like going to trial, having a big trial. So what was the point there?
I have no idea. I'm looking in here trying to find this evidence, this shirt that they were talking about, because I read about that yesterday, but somebody said today it was actually submitted. But this just goes again to people who want to deny all of this when there's DNA evidence. I mean, there's just so much, like Lovell was saying. We saw the carts, the extra evidence, I'll say, coming in. I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it all. It's too much.
It is.
I mean, they have this side by side. Yeah.
She should have squirted her breast
It's
milk.
only day two. Exactly.
The judges tell him, hold your head up, wake up, and sit up. Put your shoulders back, and have a attitude.
They got Geronda looking like she got gas, and she's like 60 years old.
And they got his hair finished today. Did it fall out that fast, y'all, from yesterday?
Yesterday he looked like Linus from Charlie Brown. You sent me a picture of the cartoonist, and I totally don't know where that is, but I'm gonna find that because that lady got some answering to do.
Yeah, she's falling off. I guess we spoke too soon. I praised her too fast because she messing up. She even put weight on Cokehead. We all know that woman ain't had no full face.
I don't think it's necessary to talk about if he weasels away from this case, even though, I mean, we could always play devil's advocate, because somebody just commented that, he still has another Fed trial in Illinois. And then we know he has the state, Minnesota too, waiting, and he's under bond under Illinois too. I mean, he's buried. He is buried. It's a wrap. Absolutely.
Yes. And we didn't even get to, and I'm sure you're going to talk about it, that they brought his herpes doctor in that today too, because they didn't have enough time because the defense prolonged the cross-examination of Johanna that they couldn't bring in Demetrius today. So they brought in his longtime doctor.
Okay. Let me see. Let me scan this and see if they brought that up because there's so much. Oh, actually, it's thing. You know what? I think it was written earlier. I think what happens because when the reporters are finished, because they can't actually work in the courtroom or in the overflow room, they got to finish everything up later. So I think the later reports have all the details of the last stuff because this article doesn't. And it was just posted a couple hours ago. Let me see if there's any more recent about that because I want to know about that.
Yeah, one of the supporting channels came on and said, because this is his longtime doctor that verified, and then the technical aspect of the herpes virus that he has, right? We know it's the sexual herpes virus. Well, one of the supporters came on and was like, guys, it's the herpes with the cold sores. Like, Lord have mercy, help us, Jesus. Why are you lying to these people like that? That's not what the doctor said.
Okay, I'm looking for the most recent post here. This is Chicago Sun-Times. I'm like, I'll keep forgetting it's in New York. At the New York, I have the New York Times. That's what I was looking at. Okay, let me see what this one has. Cross-examination. Okay. Let's see. To bolster their claims against Kelly, prosecutors showed jurors screenshots. Okay, we showed that about the phone. Okay, and then it says later, Dr. Chris McGrath told jurors that he had been prescribing herpes medication for Kelly since at least 2007.
See, that's the physician that Ed Jensen said left him with R. Kelly. Yeah.
And became fast friends. It says, okay, so let me go back. It says later, Dr. Chris McGrath told jurors he had been prescribing herpes medication for Kelly since at least 2007 and became fast friends with him until 2019.
Oh.
Sometimes examining the singer during house calls at his mansion. Kelly didn't pay for treatment, but instead picked up the tab for the doctor to attend concerts in Chicago, New York, and elsewhere. He testified. So here he is again, not paying the doctor. He didn't pay for his own meds.
He is
Didn't,
such a
didn't we
stingy
tell y'all?
person.
Didn't,
Friends
Unbelievable.
with the doctor. So why did the doctor stop being friends in 2019, you think? Because he
because
went to jail?
the feds came knocking at the door. What? I said the feds came knocking at the door. Let me tell y'all, didn't we tell y'all 2 years ago that we always develop this friendship? We all know everybody got to get their hands dirty. And didn't we say that the doctor was making house calls as well as him going to Walgreens and all that? But no, nobody, he's never been to the doctor, perfect health, didn't have a reason to go. Oh, no, all false
Yeah,
claims.
and the whole time he has his doctor in his back pocket.
Stars don't go to the doctor, especially when they have, embarrassing symptoms or, diseases such as herpes or something like that. He's not going to be in the healthcare system. He's not going to be going from doctor to doctor. He's going to be one guy that gets prescriptions, and he's going to get all his medicine from him, no matter what it is.
That reminds me of Prince. When Prince, before he passed, they said he was getting his prescription, but his prescription was in somebody else's name, and the doctor's name. Yeah, I get that.
Wealthy people get, the treatment of you call your doctor in the middle of the night, and it's called like the concierge, if I pronounce it right, like treatment. So yeah, and then it must be voodoo or something on his songs, whatever. They either accepted not being paid so they could dare willingly from their evil heart, or because I got tickets to the show and he peed that song. Oh my God!
The friendship and the connection is more valuable than what he can make off of any prescription. Just being close to somebody who has that much power. He can rub elbows. He can go on any show he want to. Just having that relationship. He's starstruck. Imagine this is a doctor who went to school. Imagine what kind of defense does a 15-year-old girl have?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I wonder, do he think his medical license? Do he think it's worth it? I don't know if he's in the jeopardy of his career as a physician.
No. He was just doing his job. Yeah. He was just doing his job.
R. Kelly felt to see his doctor up there that he had been friends with also, and who he had been dealing with up to the point of his arrest, spilling all his tea.
And you know what, y'all?
Exactly, Goddess. Been confirming that he's been prescribing herpes medicine for 10, 12 years. But
it's rumors.
You gotta think R. Kelly also was banking on I drugged all the, he probably thinking that as a child, drugging them, if not all of them, majority of them, even the adult. He probably didn't even think their memory was gonna, damn, they remember that? Like, God dang it. I thought, like, come on. But then after a while, people was recording. He thought he was doing all the recording. And it's a lot of his staff and friends, as he say, was recording him, whether it was, tape recorder, phone, or the iPad. They had their secret cameras too.
I'm sure that he has a blur of memories of just bodies. Like there's probably certain victims that left an impression with him, but the thousands and thousands and thousands of young women and allegedly boys, whoever he's been with, you don't remember every face. It's a blur.
Yeah, because he traveled, he toured, and all the years, like Mr. Lovell said, all the years. Oh, y'all, this is something. I think the bigger he became, it fed that ego and that inner demon. Like it just empowered that evil side. Like he said that he's never gonna let go. And you have a lot of people saying, well, you know how much money we made? Yeah, I was just doing it. I was getting paid. You know how much money I was getting paid? The money. I don't have that kind of heart. I'm sorry.
I'm looking for this. I found something about the DNA.
To hear a child getting beat on in the next room, I wouldn't be able to stand there and try myself. Oh yeah, can you turn the volume up real quick? Yeah, what you say? Like to try to drown it out because I'm getting half-ass paid? No, I wouldn't be able to do that. But they said he knew who to pull certain bullshit with. Like I remember, he's never gonna dress like a real man because the bus driver even said that.
Yep.
Like he had to check him, and our Kelly kind of like bow down, Like it's
Or he would send somebody else to try to check
yeah,
somebody.
it's a dirty
Yeah.
word.
Mhm.
Yeah, tell it to be somebody else or leaving notes
Absolutely.
on the wall.
Mr. Kelly don't appreciate
Yeah,
y'all here signing autograph, and Mr. Kelly don't appreciate y'all hanging around the girls and this and that and
yeah.
that. You know, he would never have
Mhm.
to confront us.
He's a
That's
coward.
that.
I want to read.
He
I
knew
want
not.
to read. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he knew not to go up against an alpha male. That's why he sent his little cronies to do that, because typically, a real abusive man to women and stuff, when they come up against an alpha male that's a protector of women, they don't mess with them. You know what I
Yeah.
You
mean?
mean like a Angelo Clary type?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Angelo Clary. That man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Lovell, did you have any encounters with like mafia McDavid? Because he acted like he was a vigilante too.
David McDarrell.
David McDarrell. You right. I'm
David.
so
Daryl
sorry.
McDavid. Which is it? What is it again? Daryl McDavid?
Allegedly he the one who
Yeah.
started the terrorism for, but he was running around, pulling pistols out on the girls and some of the men. I mean, just basically like, oh, I'm gonna harass and do it for you.
Intimidating. I mean, he was a paid goon. I mean, a lot of these guys were just flunkies. They didn't have anything else going on for themselves. You making $1,000 a week driving around his RV, and just basically doing his bidding. That's
Yeah.
all.
And that's why he's a co-defendant today, as is
Yeah.
Milton Brown. You
But
know Milton
he
Brown? You
knew
ever know him?
he knew who to prey on. He surrounded himself with people like that. I mean,
Right.
the people in his camp, most of them, when they first got, were educated people, that were worldly people, and kind of like seeing what was going on and dissipated. And then he surrounded himself with people that he can prey on, from the people that work for him, the people that dance for him. These people had nothing to go back to. You know what I'm saying? Some of the men that were security, and he should treat them just as bad as the women. Wouldn't let them go to the bathroom. Wouldn't let them get nothing to eat. I mean, and
Oh
these
my
guys put up
God.
with this because they didn't have anything else. What was he going to do? Go back and work at McDonald's?
Wow. 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 Wow.
I wanted to read this from USA Today. They have this. So the doctor was yesterday. And they have a little more details about some of the stuff. So I'm going to read what they said. It says, first witness alleges R&B singer gave her herpes as a teen. Later, prosecutors called a new witness, Kelly's primary care doctor, Chris McGrath, who testified under subpoena that he was Kelly's doctor for 25 years until 2019, and also a social friend who visited his parties and dinners. Prosecutors whose charges against Kelly include knowingly infected some of his accusers with a sexually transmitted disease, introduced more than 200 pages of Kelly's medical records as evidence. More than 200 pages. McGrath testified about visits from Kelly, who he said complained of various genital ailments over the years.
This is the
In
first
June,
day. Y'all. This is the first day.
First day.
And R. Kelly look like he sleep on there, don't he?
Okay. So wait, but well, it says in June of 2000, Kelly came in for an irritated penis. McGrath said he ordered a herpes test, which came back negative. But he told the jury that depending on timing, such tests can have false negative results. So he didn't get actually diagnosed with it till 2007, but he came in 2000 with the issue. So,
oh my God, he probably had it and didn't know.
Yeah, he just didn't. The test didn't catch it. So it says he prescribed the medication Valtrex to treat some of Kelly's symptoms. He said, but could not say specifically when he concluded Kelly had herpes. He said he called in Valtrex prescriptions for Kelly so often. I remember the phone number of that Walgreens, Kelly's preferred pharmacy.
Lord have mercy. That doctor was scared. That doctor was scared to tell Kelly he had herpes.
He probably was.
In the medicine.
Oh my God. He knew the Walgreens number by heart. He had bad.
To
He
call
was
it in that
That,
much. Oh,
that's why
man.
Kels went to sleep when the doctor was up there because he couldn't handle it.
he was
He
really
like,
he had fainted. He
He's
passed
like,
out.
oh shit, let me go to sleep.
He was trying to pretend like he was asleep. You know how kids do when
Mhm.
they trying to avoid.
Absolutely.
exactly. You know what? We had a medical assistant that got sent to another site. This is a true story. This is how R. Kelly acted. We heard rumors about this one physician. She's so mean. She make every medical assistant cry that worked for her, and this next time she crazy. This girl went to that doctor, and they said she passed out. And every time she looked up, the doctor she signed to kept trying to bring her to. She'd go pass right back out. Because
Oh,
the
geez.
anxiety of she's thinking like this lady about to cuss me out. I done heard the dark and evil rumors about her. I'm scared of her. And she passed out. And every time she woke up and saw that woman, and they said the ambulance people told her, I think it's you. She keeps she keeps falling back.
Mm-mm-mm. Wow.
Oh my
So that's that's how it be. You got to be able to handle it. When you're a doctor, you got to be able to deliver any information. Like I understand the the intimidation though. But,
Yep,
so
and pressure. That was pressure. That doctor was scared to tell her.
okay.
So he said, let me just prescribe him the medicine. And then finally he got the courage to tell him in 2007.
And on the phone, I'm sure. So it
ain't no
says on cross-examination, one of Kelly's lawyers, Nicole Blank-Becker, called into question the doctor's eventual diagnosis of herpes. She said, I feel that 100%, the doctor said, excuse me, I feel that 100% he has herpes, McGrath said. 100%. His own primary doctor. Okay.
There it is. Ring a
Yeah.
bell. Yes. Yes.
So it says when asked if the Valtrex was used to treat anything other than herpes, McGrath said he uses it to treat herpes. Dr. McGrath, I feel like Dr. McGrath wasn't really a friend. He was being bullied the whole time. He had to show up to those parties and dinners and shit. He probably threatened them. He's finally get a chance to speak his truth. He's like spilling all of it. Herpes. That's it. That's all. That's
That
it.
man said, that man said after prescribing that shit for damn 15 years, he couldn't
Okay,
tell it.
that's all the man had. That's all he was doing.
y'all. He
Nicole,
probably was.
Tricky Nikki, that was the wrong question again.
You know what, y'all? They said a lot of the people that pulled out at the last minute was thanking like the feds. Thank God y'all showed up. I'm tired. You know how many times I'll give you whatever you need.
Okay, they're thanking this man. Thanking the feds for coming to save him, huh? Lord.
But you know what, y'all? You know what, y'all? I know this is funny, but you know what? I'm also gonna say, may Father God just bless all these women that he's infected too, because that's awful. That's awful, and allegedly some young boys that may have gotten it. That is awful.
Oh yeah. I'm wondering too if they asked the doctor. Well, I haven't finished yet, but if they asked the doctor any other things that he has, well, they have the 200 pages of medical records. So, I mean, I guess it would all be.
Holy shit!
Yeah. You hear me when I just read that?
Yeah, I heard you. Because, I just, I don't know.
It says on redirect, the prosecutor sought to clarify McGrath's testimony. Under their questions, McGrath said he did diagnose Kelly with genital herpes, and there was no doubt about it. He informed Kelly and told him to tell his sexual partners. You think he did?
No. No, ma'am.
Oh, wow. And then, so they went on today to finish the cross-examination. She was basically called a stalker, and here's how she handled that. It says, they tried to have her mix up dates. And then he says, you were in fact stalking him, right? Kanik asked, and she said, that is not right. And Kanik asked whether she remembered once telling someone she drove by Kelly's house over 30 times. Well, that sounds like hearsay. If you asking her, did you tell this person? Like that's somebody outside of the party that told you something. That's hearsay. But she over 30 times, she says and it says, did she remember having a video recording of herself waiting outside of Kelly's home? Yes, but she couldn't remember if she was alone. She did remember how many times she waited outside of it says, did she remember how many times she waited outside of his home? And she said, I recall at least once. It says, does she still hope to be in a relationship with R. Kelly? Pace denied that. That's a stupid question. A key element of Kelly's defense asserted by his lawyers is that the singer was victimized by groupies. Of course, we covered that. And it says, would you categorize yourself as a groupie? He asked her. She said no. Talked about how the room and the permission for the bathroom. Okay, here we go. What about the T-shirt she was wearing, which she testified contained Kelly's DNA? Kanik asked if the shirt was tested, for Pace's DNA. Pace said it was not. Pace, 28, who was pregnant, and said to be due any day, was the first witness. So I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Wait, Kanik asked Pace about her memory for phone numbers, about her meetings with prosecutors and and we talked about that before. He did say that it says, okay, this is a long sentence. Kanik asked Pace about her memory for phone numbers, about her meetings with prosecutors before the trial began, and how much money she's made from her public discussions of her time with R. Kelly, including a YouTube video she published in 2017, TV interviews, Instagram posts, and a book. And Pace said compensated for the book, which was $25,000, more than $25,000, but less than $100. And were the details in the book accurate with no embellishment? She said yes. They need to enter that book into evidence. The book, if they want to ask her about it, the jury needs to read it. Kanik questioned her about her birthday, the timeline between when she first met R. Kelly.
Yes. That's the way I was talking about. Got it. That part right there.
Okay. It says he tried to raise doubts about her memory of how old she was at the time. Claimed to have aged 2 years from 2008 to 2009. She said her April birthday had not yet occurred when she first met R. Kelly. But she said, I knew I had lied about my age to Kelly during the first sexual encounter and his suburban Chicago home, which she testified about on the stand on yesterday. Evidence of the phone number she used during her time with Kelly was introduced by the prosecution before they finished direct examination. And she was asked about the call log, which we talked about. And for the second day of trial, the judge Donnelly asked everyone to wear a mask if they're not talking. That was the other thing I was going to bring up. I noticed ain't nobody wearing masks nowhere. I mean, I'm looking at when they come into the courtroom and like even the fans out there. Yeah.
But you know, they was all on the party bus, no mask, baby, and everything.
Okay. Yep. And it says under cross-examination. Okay, we talked about the agreement he asked her to read. Pace, who referred to Kelly as Rob, said she had sex with when she was 16. You know, blah blah blah. She shared her story with BuzzFeed News and described going to a party at his house in Chicago and testified that he took her virginity. Said she felt uncomfortable. And when she told Kelly her real age, she testified, he said something along the lines of, "What's that supposed to mean?" And it said, "Continue to tell everyone I was 19 and act like I was 21." Pace testified, adding that Kelly told her he was going to train her sexually. She also testified sometimes, he recorded her. We talked about that. And that she ended up contracting herpes while she was with him in 2009. Yeah. Donnelly ruled the T-shirt admissible as evidence.
Okay, y'all hear that?
Let me read the paragraph that comes before that. It says on yesterday, Pace recalled her last day at Kelly's home, saying he spit on her, slapped her, and choked her until she passed out after he flew into a rage over her texting a friend. After oral sex, she said he used her blue shirt to wipe semen from her face. She used her shirt, not him. She used her shirt to wipe the semen from her face. Donnelly ruled the T-shirt admissible as evidence. There it is. There it is. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maria Cruz Melendez, one of the 3-member prosecution team, said they were present the jury with evidence of DNA allegedly belonging to Kelly on the t-shirt, in addition to birth certificates, checks, phone records, travel records, prescription records, warrants, and a video/audio recordings of accusers. Think that's enough?
Yeah.
Yeah,
First day.
that's enough. That's it. Done data. So
Day two, y'all. Day two.
Day two. What's up, Nia X? Welcome back. Houston is here talking about HIV. Does it have to be HIV, Houston, for it to be a problem and be, I think, an illegal issue to raise? He gave this to people who were not told in advance that he had it. He's been going to the doctor since 2000, burning, and he was messing with these girls and boys with this disease. Oh, okay. I was wondering where you went, girl. Okay, let me drop the link for you. Houston, come to the panel. Okay. Ms. Mocha, welcome. She said, I'm late listening to the program yesterday. Geronda is the case. Geronda is the case, she said. Nia said that he got tired of prescribing. He got tired of prescribing. He's like, I'm gonna just call for you. Let me just bring it over. I'm gonna bring you some of these things. Yeah, unbelievable. JC, welcome back. Let me charge my pharmacy. Here I come, CBS. Wow. Well, I want to happily say that Lovell Jones, again, thank you for being here, and I want to thank you also for not enabling this man and being a part of the shenanigans, and we, standing up, being a real man, speaking out, telling, your truth about what you've seen and things, because a lot of people wouldn't do that, and it takes real courage and, just a real stand up, some integrity and some morals,
Yeah, I've been telling this story for over 20 years. When I stopped working for him, it's on record. Everything that's coming out today. We went on Wendy Williams' show when she had a radio show in New York with his brother. This was over 20 years ago, and all this stuff is just coming out now.
Wow, 20 years of you speaking out. I mean, this has to be just surreal. I don't know. I'm thinking of a word.
Yeah.
Do you feel any type of relief yourself? Because I personally do. I feel some relief that this trial is happening, because we didn't know if it was going to happen.
You do. When it first started coming out, you're kind of compassionate towards them, but it's hard to be compassionate now after so long and still continuing the same behavior and destroying so many lives. I mean, he got it. Whatever's coming to him, he got it.
Nia, let me put this picture back up because she is
thank you.
Too funny.
Thank you again.
Nia said, "Hey peeps, R.K. sitting up there looking like he wants to go half on the blanket."
He's thinking about this goddamn baby doll house.
Crazy.
And Miss Denise nailed it. You the only artist in the industry with nothing but NDAs and a baby doll house. That's all you got to show after 30 years.
We covered a lot here. It's been 2 hours. I don't want to wear Lovell out. I know y'all are used to it, but I want to say, Lovell, you are welcome, shall I say, here to any time. I know you probably not going to hit me up, so I'm probably going to be hitting you up. And I love to have you again. Yeah.
All right. Anytime. Just call me.
Yes, we appreciate you so much, King. Thank you so much for being that stand-up man and telling your truth like God has said. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And do we have anything else, or does anybody have any questions before we go, or is anything lingering here?
I wonder will any of the YouTubers be forced to testify for the defense or the prosecutor?
What's that?
Will any of the YouTubers be brought in?
They got so much, man. They don't need nothing else. This is only the second day.
Because some of them was working with the attorney to go blow up cars and stuff like that and send death threats and put people addresses up.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all came in a little late. again, Lovell Jones from the group twice.
Mm-hmm.
He toured where he was. He worked with R. Kelly. He was backup singer. I went on tour with him. 3 years of working with him. He still has connections with some of his people. Somebody's asking if you remember Demetrius, and we spoke on Demetrius earlier, who was supposed to testify and who will be testifying.
Yeah, me and Demetrius are real good friends. We still talk.
Yeah, he's real good friends with Demetrius still. Welcome, Miss Della. Thank you for the earlier.
Miss you, Miss Della.
Did I misspell your name, Mr. Lovell? Oh, now I done seen this. Now I'll get it correct. If I did, I didn't mean to.
No, it's Lovell.
Lov, yeah.
But you know, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. You got a big breakthrough, like a great blessing coming, Mr. Lovell. And I don't even say Mr. because I'm 41 years old, but it's out of respect.
Continue blessings. Continue.
Yes, continue. A spirit just talking to me, and I just want to say that before you leave. I also say, because you did the right thing, like it's from the first time you came on God Is God channel, I was new to YouTube. I didn't know how to, I was just typing in, I didn't know how to call in or nothing, but I did do my research and cross-reference, and I came back to verify that you were one of the very few that did speak out. And I was like, I can only imagine it's probably like talking to a brick wall with people that you reported this to and everything. And it's funny how articles and everything, information resurfaces was never around years ago, but all of a sudden now it comes out and shows, you know, and it's not just like, oh, where do these people come from? He didn't know. No, if you cross-reference, look at that, he was around. He's not lying.
Absolutely.
So, but you did the right thing. Your heart was in a good place. It wasn't like the rest of them beehivers. So, absolutely shower you with love. And you don't have to just come on the channel. God Is Done, do meditation. You do shout of love, and we'll promise to check on you and keep you in our warrior world.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, he's an official warrior now. Come on now.
Yeah, and legendary.
Warrior. Yeah, we'll have him back. Yeah, thank you for your story, Hazel said. And yeah, it takes a lot, like I said, of courage and heart to speak out and continue to do so. He said 20 years. Some people would have gave up at this point, like, nobody's listening to me. Nobody, but not Lovell Jones. So and that's the type of this is kin here. This is like people from the when they say of the same cloth, people, we are cut, I think, from the same cloth over here as far as our, like I said earlier, integrity. We have a moral compass. Some of us do actually want to be good and do the right thing. We're all humans and we're all flawed. Nobody's perfect, but when you go into things, your intention is what matters too. You got to have good intentions behind what you do.
Absolutely.
But all right, well, I think that we're going to end it on this high note, and we will be back for sure tomorrow for the book reading. Who haven't joined the channel, if you want to listen, we're starting off with Aaliyah's book, or not Aaliyah's book, written about Aaliyah, baby girl better known as Aaliyah. I'm going to give out 2 books. Like I had asked, if you guys want a book, email me, and I'm going to just give away 2 books. So just email me. You might be the only one emailing. So other than that, we're back on Saturday. We come live on Saturday nights, and we typically do world news, world news topics. But if anything new comes up with R. Kelly, we'll cover it then, and then any other things going on in the world. Because with this COVID vaccine thing, we always trying to keep on top of that. Now we got the Taliban. Taliban is running amok, child. Taliban is going crazy. And I'm worried for the women over there specifically, but we'll talk about it, like I said, because it's hashtag smart people on there and hashtag warrior gang. Shout out to all you warriors. Thank you as always. Until next time, peace.
Peace, love and blessings.
If you haven't done so, subscribe, like, and share, and comment if you want to read. Let us know how much you love us. I'm just kidding. Let us know you stuff. All right. Peace and love.